I stabbed my classmate in 4th grade, but got away with it because she lied when was asked about it. We were seatmates and good friends, so it was normal for us back then to just go through each other's stuff. But I forgot that I put my diary in my backpack the night before because I was hiding it from my brother. She finds it and proceeds to read it until she reaches the part where I wrote about my top 3 crushes with the whole ranking and writing the top one as the winner to my heart. I was busy taking notes from the chalkboard and she was only supposed to borrow a pen from me, so I was oblivious until I heard it, the familiar writing being announced to the whole class. I was flushed with embarrassment and couldn't contain my anger, so I tried to grab my diary, but she wouldn't let me reach it, so I just went and stabbed her near the elbow downwards. The wound was long because I dragged the pen, so there was a lot of blood. Our teacher was in another room, so our classmates went to get her. I was staying by my seatmate's side, finally realizing what I had done and panicking. Teacher came and immediately rushed her to the school clinic. I was so afraid of the repercussions of what I did, but I remember being really surprised that when our teacher came back, I wasn't told to come to the principal's office or even just taken aside for a little chat. Nothing. Not even my classmates told on me. After finishing my notes, I asked our teacher for permission to visit her in the clinic and she said okay. I went to the clinic to say I was really sorry, but I stopped walking and hid behind the door when I saw that her mum was there. Her mum was asking her about what happened and I was shocked that she said she was just playing around with some of our classmates, then mentioned a classmate who tripped and accidentally stabbed her with a pen. I felt so guilty that I ran to the bathroom and just cried. When I came back, they were gone and so were her things in our classroom. Next day our teacher announced that my seatmate was transferring to another school. Fast forward to many years after. Still see her on random occasions. Just simple smiles and waves and hi and hellos. Still guilty about what happened, but I just can't find the right timing to apologize. I can't just go and abruptly say my apology speech when I see her in the mall or someplace. Today I relapsed after being sober for an entire year. As the title says, today I relapsed after being a year sober. I developed a drug addiction as a teenager and finally went to rehab after years of battling the disease. I went from smoking a joint from time to time to doing lines of coke and painkillers in the bathroom stalls between high school classes. Literally ruined my life. Just don't do it, kids. It ain't worth it. The list of substances I've consumed is so extensive I couldn't even remember half of them. After staying in a treatment facility, I was committed to staying clean. I relapsed a couple times, but essentially managed to stay sober, and I have been for the past year, excluding the occasional blunt that I used to treat my anxiety. I was really freaking proud of myself. I've recently been home from being away at school. Today I was home alone and went to get an ibuprofen for my headache. I opened the medicine cabinet and there were those little pills just lying there, those wonderful oxys. It almost felt too easy this time. The euphoria was just a handful away. I swear they screamed in my ears, yelling at the top of their lungs, "Open the bottle." My headache was real. If I could just take those sweet tablets, it wouldn't count, because as long as they were to treat my pain, it was justified. I popped 2 tablets and here I am, riding out my peaceful high lying on my bed, whilst spilling out my secret for all of you strangers. I know I'm just lying to myself. I allowed that pathetic excuse to cloud my judgment. It's freaking hard. My sobriety was the only thing preventing me from completely spiraling. I know if I dive back into old habits, only 2 things await me: death or institutions. I can't go back to how things were. I said goodbye to those devil's disguisedness capsules. I freaking hate them, but here I am again. I just want more now. I'm not religious, but God, please grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I promised I wouldn't end up back into the endless cycle. I can't. Didn't know who to turn to because I can't tell anyone about my mishap. Anyways, frick it, wish me luck. In 5th grade, I pushed a girl in a monkey cage enclosure and ripped the skin of her arms off. I attended an elementary school that is near to a small park where there were about 10 exotic animals like hawks, snakes and monkeys. It's basically a small zoo. We usually wait there for our school service to arrive. We were just sitting around the birdcage-like enclosure of this aggressive monkey that we're making fun of and waiting for the school service to arrive. When the school service arrived, we all stood up and raced to the school service front seat. I knew that I won't be first, so I pushed the girl who is in front of me. She tripped close to the cage. The monkey got startled and went crazy instantly. The monkey grabbed her arm and ripped her skin off in one bite. It is the gnarliest thing I ever saw. Her face turned pale white, I think because of the shock and loss of blood. We carry her out the park while she and some of us were stained with blood. An old guy who is working in the park sees us and immediately carried her and called an ambulance. The day after that, the monkey is not in the park anymore and we have a new school service driver. Kept all the chocolate I sold to my neighbors and ate it myself. I still feel bad about this all these years later. Once a year in elementary school, some chocolate company, America's Finest I believe, would give the students a presentation and send us door to door in our neighborhood to sell chocolate from a catalog. In hindsight, it is absolutely insane to ask kids to do something like this. We even did wrapping paper too from a different company. Did they assume we had supervision? Was the school getting kickbacks for this? I'd love to do a deep dive into this subject actually. Anyway, my neighbors happily paid up front for the chocolate, and weeks later that beloved sweet chocolate would be delivered to me at school for distribution. I ate the whole freaking box, never heard a peep from anyone, and my life as a chubby adolescent carried on as normal. I've stolen over 10k in cash at my former job, and was never caught. Throwaway account. I used to work at the movie theaters as a manager about 9 years ago. This theater was super popular. Brand new everything at the time. A bar, amazing sound and seating. Every time a new movie would come out it would be stupid busy. I am talking like Twilight, Iron Man, The Hangover, etc. Pretty good movies. This was before apps for theaters started being popular and we did have kiosk for people to pay on. Card only, but 90% of the time they would up on the ticket counter. I was in charge of closing out the registers at night. At first I was honest, I would count out the drawers, figure out what was earned, see if it was short or not and even out the drawer back to the start of the day. Usually it was set up for $250. After a while I noticed there was no security cameras in the ticket counter and there would be no way of seeing what was happening unless you were inside the booth. So I got curious. One night while I was closing up I pocketed $20 and wrote up off nothing. So the following week I did it again, nothing again. And then I waiting on super busy movie nights when we would use 4 of the registers in the booth and at closing I would take 40 from each and even the drawer back to $250. Some busy nights I would walk out with about $250-300. And I was getting away with it. No one never looked into the fact I was doing this. So I kept at it for 5-6 months. I'm not sure how much I really took, but I can with confidence say it was over 10k, because I used it to put a down payment on a car. I ended up quitting the job due to moving out of the state. And that was that. I was never caught. So basically, they should have really invested in cameras in the ticket counter area, lol. I convinced a kid to pull the fire alarm and got him suspended. Still feel a bit shooty about this one, because I don't know what his home life was like and what other ramifications he may have faced. This was in like 4th grade. We were lined up outside music class and me and this little pipsqueak of a kid was standing right by the fire alarm. I don't think we had ever spoken before that day. I start laying into him about pulling the fire alarm. I have no clue what possessed me. Come on, do it. Do it. It'll be so funny. Don't be a baby, just pull it. It was basically straight out of an anti-drug advert, and I was the big bad guy offering him a joint. He pulls it, and immediately every teacher is walking out of their classrooms and looking straight at this pool fricker. Everyone knew it was him, but of course we still had to go outside and do the whole drill. On my way inside I see him being pulled by my homeroom teacher, and she sees me and grabs me too. He had ratted me out. Did you tell him to pull the fire alarm? No ma'am. I said don't pull it. He must have misheard me. I'm pretty sure she didn't believe me, but ultimately it was my word against his. and he was the one who got caught pulling it, so she let me go. He got suspended for like 4 days and I remember him looking very pathetic when he returned. He never talked to me again. Sorry little dude. I stole from the school store when I was in 4th grade. My principal took $5 from me when I was in 4th grade. He took it because some dumbass rich girl lost the $5 that her parents gave her every day to buy shoot at the school store, and my mum happened to have given me $5 for the school store that day. And he assumed I took it. Since that moment, I've stole from the school store every opportunity I could because I was never given my money back. I became judge, jury, and executioner, and I feel no pity for the erasers I took. I only stopped senior year because I was worried that me being 18 and getting caught could result in me going to jail. I don't know, I'm just paranoid like that.